glad I don't look stupid in this helmet. But, this is not excellent. Whew. You do not know how much torture I went through to put this helmet on. Anyway. Hello once again, YouTube, and welcome to another Doctor Who review by yours truly, Robert Lewis. I do not have a proper intro! Calm down, Robert. Calm down. Now, you may be wondering, why are you wearing this Sideman helmet? Well, that's because today's Doctor Who story features the Sidemen. Well, a classic episode, but the story with the Sidemen in it, because I felt like since I did a review of a classic story with the Daleks in it, shouldn't I follow it up with a classic story with the Sidemen in it? Indeed, I needed to do that, which is earthshock. As it says by the label, it's the 40th anniversary of Doctor Who release, and the first DVD in this range that we've been covering, and it's a Pierre Davison story, obviously. And it spoils two things. The cover already spoils two things. You thought that trailers spoiling the whole plot was bad. Take a look at this. It shows the Sidemen are in it, which, sorry, spoilers, I guess, but you'll get this DVD and it will have the Sidemen on it, so it's not really a spoiler. But back when this originally aired, it was a spoiler. And you have Adric's face next to the Earth, and he's gonna collide into it. Oh, spoilers, I guess, but it's on the internet. It's a clip that you can watch, and also this story's more than 30 years old, so one would assume that you would have watched this. I'm not giving spoilers for things that have been on this planet Earth for more than 30 years. You stupid cunts. I mean, you lovely people. Yes. So it spoils two plot points already. Great thinking. But most people knew it was a Sideman story anyway. Yes, as much as I might critique this DVD, this is one of the... Just like Talons, it's a Doctor Who story very special to me. It was my first classic Sideman story. It was. I know, hard to believe, but this is something more special than any other DVD, because I love the Sidemen. They're my favourite recurring villains. My favourite one-time villains are the rock robots. Well, actually, no monsters. My favourite one-time villain is the Mara. My favourite current villain, of course, it's the Master. And my favourite version of the Master is the Peter Pratt version of the Master. Blah! Yes, this. If you haven't heard, this story is a classic, and it's in my top 10 Doctor Who stories. I've got about 2 Davison stories in my top 10, and a load of 4th Doctor stories. Yes, there's a 3rd Doctor story and 2 7th Doctor stories, maybe 3. I don't know. There's one 6th Doctor story. Guess what? It's Varos. It's vengeance on Varos, obviously. Yeah. And there's Blink, and and Vincent and the Doctor, and Mummy on the Orient Express, I guess. Or maybe Heaven Sent. I don't know which, but there's 2 Capaldi stories. No, 3 actually. There's also The Empty Child and Dalek. Because Dalek is the best, because all praise to the mighty Rob Sherman, the creator of all things holy and godlike. Because Rob Sherman is the almighty one. Yes. He also wrote Jubilee, which was kind of like Dalek, only completely not like Dalek. Yes. Let me read out the plot synopsis for you. The mysterious disappearance of an archaeological team is merely a prelude to a deadlier threat for the Doctor and his companions. Spoiler alert! The Cybermen want to destroy Earth, which is kind of useless, isn't it? And they'll use any means at their disposal. The Doctor's ingenuity is strict to the very limits as he battles to defeat the cyber race army at any cost. But does he not? But even he doesn't realise just how high the cost is. Now, this is the first time a companion died since the Daleks' master plan. Actually, 2 companions died in the Daleks' master plan. Usually, when companions leave the show, they say, "Oh, goodbye, Doctor," or stay on a planet, or say, "Oh, I'm going to help these people, Doctor," or get tired of the lifestyle, like Tegan would do 3 years later, or were killed. Then that turned out to be false evidence, or they leave to go back to Earth, or it's not explained, or they refuse to go on adventures, or they just say that we just go and leave the Doctor. Yeah, there's various ways of leaving the TARDIS, but usually it doesn't end in dying. Though good old Alistair did die, unfortunately. I need to review another unit story, or maybe even Mordrin Undead, which for all the Welsh fans, which I bet there's about 1% of you watching, you might think that title is absolute rubbish, because Mordrin is Welsh for undead. So it's undead. The most stupidest Doctor Who title ever, and sometimes some people might say it's the most stupidest Doctor Who story ever. And I say to that, fuck you! To quote Michael Brooks of Emerald Soldier. You don't know who he is? You're missing some good stuff, you are. Yes, this is one of the first Doctor Who DVDs ever created, but it wasn't the first. I feel like, that's a thing. It's not important or anything. Let's go on to more important things, like the main the regular cast and the guest cast. I feel like this is one of the best performances given by Davison. Like, most of this season, he didn't really what's the word? I don't know. He didn't really. He was like, oh, yeah. But in this, He was like, no, no, no. Not to the point where it's absolutely obnoxious. I'm looking at you, David Tennant. But to the point where it's mildly okay. Yes, and the same with the three companions. Adric is less annoying, I would have to say. Yeah, he can be annoying, but in some scenes he's not annoying, actually. Nissa and Tegan, I'm not a big fan of you, Tegan. Nissa is okay, I have to say. The guest cast is good. Especially, I found the performances by the three the people on the ship to be the best of the guest cast. It doesn't say their names, unfortunately. I wish it did. That would be easy. Especially the character of Rimway. He's a bit of an arsehole, to say the least. He betrays humanity for the Cybermen. And speaking of the Cybermen, oh boy, it's my favourite Cyber leader. I already covered him in Attack of the Cybermen, but I haven't covered him to the full extent that I'm going to right now, because that was 25 minutes and I was just rambling on, and I have a clear-cut direction for this video. David Banks is the best cyber leader the world has ever seen. That's because he's one of the only cyber leaders the world has ever seen. There's that other one in Revenge, which was shit. There was the one that Nicholas Briggs did, and it's basically the same as all the other Cybermen, just with a new coat of paint on his trims and on his face, and maybe a new and shiny, and maybe still the fashion sense of the cyber controller. We're on to you, cyber leader controller from the next Doctor and A Good Man Goes to War. But this is definitely the best cyber leader this show has ever had, because it's the most famous, and the earthshock design of the Cybermen have appeared in essentially four. Any Lion Gamer fans out there, you'll know who I'm quoting. Yes, our Lion Gamer 2000. And I, for one, welcome our new Lion Gamer Overlord. Yeah, 4 stories, yes. I had to make that pun. And not many in the expanded media. In fact, the Invasion Cybermen have more outings in the expanded media, even though they appear in only one story. They appear a lot in the expanded media, which is really strange. Yeah. But the duo of Mark Hardy and David Banks, they have a sense of... It's lovely to see on screen, to see the Cybermen have a sense of menace, and unlike in New Who, where they're just in the background and saying, "Oh, you must be deleted," instead they're killing people. Majority of the cast is killed. Like, all the troops in the caves were killed. And even major characters that we learn to love are killed in the 4th part. Like that. They're gone forever. They're dead. You can't bring them back with your sonic screwdriver, Doctor, because you don't have a sonic screwdriver. Yeah, that's right. His sonic screwdriver was blown up in the visitation. Yes. And it has the best cliffhanger. Part 1 has the best cliffhanger of all time. One of them is that one of my favourite cliffhangers, up there with the Deadly Assassin cliffhanger, where the Doctor is being drowned, the Genesis of the Daleks cliffhanger, which was I can't remember now, when the Doctor gets electrocuted by that file. Also that when the Dalek was the Dalek in the Daleks Part 1 cliffhanger, that was pretty good. And when the TARDIS explodes in the mine, Robert, and when the Cybermen emerge from the sewers. Oh. And one of my favourite So Bad It's Good cliffhangers is literally from Dragonfly. Is literally a cliffhanger. Oh god. Yes, you should totally watch all the stories that I just listed cliffhangers from. I already did Genesis, Didn't I? Which is a great story. Totally go onto my channel and go and watch it, because it's a brilliant story. I might actually provide links for once in the description. Oh, hi Mark. What's new? Why am I talking like Tommy Wiseau from The Room? This is a brilliant story. The guest cast, the tone in it. It has a sense of dread, and there's some clever foreshadowing at the beginning, where they find the bones of dinosaurs, and the Doctor and Tegan presume that the dinosaurs were wiped out by a meteorite or something. Yeah, that's how Adric dies. Spoiler alert. He collides into prehistoric Earth, killing him and all the dinosaurs, making the primordial ooze for us to evolve. And that has been my review of Doctor Who Earthshock. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.